the police. Now I even can breathe. You love me and hate me, true me and false me, make me your shining star. Giving, receiving, changing, believing, only then we could start. Feel like, feel like, feel like that. Feel like, feel like, feel like that. Feel like that. Lay your arms around me and stay with me. Feel like that. Lay your arms and stay with me, baby. Feel like that. Lay your arms around me and stay with me. Feel like that. Lay your arms and stay with me, baby. Stay, 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 stay,
Hi everyone, a very happy new year. I hope you all had a good time ending the last year with a bang, right? Thank you Vikrant Utekar for having me as the judge for this particular writing contest conducted by the Art and Mind Project. My fortress of solitude is writing. To be very honest, if I don't write on any particular day, I feel something is missing in my life. Yep. So it's very important for me to write on a daily basis. Even if I don't write on a daily basis, what I do is I come back home. I'm a working professional. I come back home. I spend some time with my family, and then I switch on my laptop at night. And even if there is nothing to write, I stare at the screen, the blank screen, and that does not help then, but then it definitely helps later. So that is my fortress of solitude. I have to come back home. I have to spend some time with my family, and at night, when I feel I'm at my creative best, I have to switch on my laptop and stare at the screen even if I don't write. mental health, according to me, is about how you behave socially, how you behave emotionally, and how you behave psychologically. You know, it's not always, and in fact, it's not only about how you behave when people are around you. It's more about how you behave when you are at home, when you are alone, when there's no one to see you, when you're probably lonely. And it's a concept which we are talking about now, but then we should have talked about it much earlier, guys, because today, in today's scenario, when we have so much tension, so much pressure, uh, be it at the domestic front or be it at the workplace front, it's very obvious for people to be anxious and lose their temper every now and then. It's normal sometimes to lose your temper. It's normal sometimes to have pent up outbursts. But then, how frequently do you have these outbursts? How frequently do you have these emotions coming out in a very violent way? Is what is the crux of mental health. But then, mental health is not always about outbursts as well. People might just not want to socialize. People might not just want to talk about it. People might just want to stay by themselves and feel the grief, feel the anger, and not seek professional help. It all comes under mental health. If you are at a stage where you feel you should talk about it, come out in the open and talk about it. There's nothing to feel shy about it, guys. Yes, absolutely, I do. So, mental health care for myself is all about writing. I feel sane, I feel normal when I write on a daily basis. And even if it's not on a daily basis, I'm working on my stories. I'm thinking about how the plot should happen after I left. That's when I feel I am engaging myself in enough mental health care activities. So to each his own, you never know what mental health care activities might mean to somebody else. But then for me, it's about writing, it's about reading, it's about listening to good music, it's about watching a good movie or a series. So I keep myself engaged even if I'm alone. It's very important because your thoughts are what make you at the end of the day. So it's important that you think well, you think healthy, you think positive, and keep yourself engaged in some activity or the other. Don't just, even if you're feeling lonely and even if you're feeling alone, again, being lonely and being alone are two different things, but then even if you're alone or even if you're lonely and you're not in a very good state of mind, I'll ask you to engage yourself in some activity or the other, whatever you like, whatever your hobby is, be it writing, be it, playing the guitar, whatever it is, or maybe playing with your dog, that helps a lot. So the fur therapy is among the best therapies I'd suggest you for, mental health care. Yeah, have a fur baby at your place and you wouldn't require professional help for sure. Yeah. See, being a writer is a very lonely process. Let me tell you this. So the writers who are watching this should relate to it. It's a very lonely process. It's a very emotional process. It can be a very emotionally draining process once you are completely sucked into it. Uh, it's a mental process. By the time a book is done and dusted, you are done with the manuscript of the book. It also leaves a void somewhere. I feel so. That happens with me. I don't know about others. But like I mentioned at the very start, it's a very lonely process. And being lonely does not always mean that it is bad. You can have a fantastic me time, yeah, if I have to put it that way. So you can have a blast with yourself as well. So it does not mean that you're lonely, so you are not normal. It does not mean like that. But to be a writer, you need to follow certain things in life. One is that you need to take care of your mental health, and it's very important for a writer to take care of his or her mental health because he or she is always thinking about stories. He or she is definitely a loner at heart. I feel every writer is a loner at heart. Some people want to own up to it, some people don't want to own up to it. But the best writers have always been loners. Yeah. So it's very important for a writer to take care of his or her mental health. It's important that the writer thinks well, thinks positive, and keeps himself or herself engaged, and not just in physical activities, in mental activities as well. Yeah. So it's important that a writer takes care of his or her mind because that's where it begins. You write a love story, you write a comedy, you write a thriller, you write a horror. It's all about how you think and how you perceive the world around you. Yeah. So it's important that you perceive the world in the right manner. So please take care of your mental health if you are a writer and watching this. This is probably the most common question I have been asked ever since I made a transition to authorship in the year 2015. So it is a very difficult task juggling the practicalities of life and being a writer, and it is a very difficult task being a full-time professional and coming back home and writing. So how I do it is simple. It's a little discipline which I maintain. It's some time management that I do, and I am based at Mumbai currently for many years, and you know how the life in a metro is like, and especially Mumbai where traveling is a pain. So I leave early, I come back a little late, but I spend some time with my family. I write mostly during the nights because that's when I feel I'm at my creative best. So I spend some time with my family. I have my dinner. I maybe watch a good show or a good movie, and then by 12:30 I sit to write. Does not happen daily, to be very honest, but I definitely switch on my laptop and I stare at the screen for some time, even if I don't write that day. It does help me in the long run. So yes, time management, some discipline, and a lot of passion is what keeps me going. I don't think there should be a stigma, really. I will visit a mental health professional if I have to, if I think I am having mental health problems. See, you go to a doctor, right? Uh, you probably visit a doctor when you are sick, when you are physically sick, you've got a fever, or you have got malaria, jaundice, whatever. So, a mental health professional is a doctor, but he or she takes care of your mental health, not your physical ailments. So just think of it that way. I mean, you have a physical body, you have a mental presence as well. So just like your physical body can be ill at times, your mental health can go awry at times as well, and there is nothing to feel shy about. You should not shy away from it. You should not, make excuses to not accept it. If there is a problem, there is a problem, but then it can be sorted. Just like fever can be sorted, right? Jaundice can be sorted, right? Malaria can be sorted, right? You go to a doctor, he or she gives you medicines, and you take those medicines, or you go on bed rest, or you are hospitalized, whatever. You become okay after a few days or a few weeks. In the same way, when you visit a mental health professional, there are therapies which happen, and they also give you medicines, and they give you a few activities to be done, and it's a part and parcel of the process, and you please go ahead with it and feel at ease. And it does not mean that you are mad or you are insane that you're visiting a mental health professional, for God's sake. Go have a word with the concerned person, have a good talk, speak your heart out, talk your heart out, tell whatever you want to tell him or her, and he or she will analyze you, and definitely it will be the best way forward. Please don't be shy, come out in the open and talk about your mental health. I do feel I try to bring some awareness about mental health to people through my books, not explicitly. I've not talked about mental health so far. This is the first time, and I feel I should do this more often. There may be people who want to hear me, there may be people whom I might be able to affect, there may be people whom I might be able to motivate to go and seek professional help if they feel they are having some mental health problems. So I'll make it a point to talk about it more explicitly. But talking about my books, I write horror mostly. I've written 6 books so far, out of which 4 are horror, and the upcoming books are also horror. So horror is a wide genre. Okay, it's not just about supernatural and paranormal horror. So there are many subgenres in this wide genre that I write, and one of them is psychological as well. And though my books are more into supernatural and paranormal horror, I occasionally border on psychological horror as well. Uh, my characters go through certain issues in their life. They go through certain mental problems, uneasiness, anxiety, something or the other. So I do definitely talk about it, but in a very implicit way, and I'll make it a point to talk about it more explicitly now, and maybe I'll write about it more explicitly now as well. But yes, I do have some contribution here through my books where I talk about mental health problems in a very implicit way. So I'll be looking for good storytelling uh, because I'm essentially a storyteller. I'm a storyteller first, then a writer, and then an author. So I look for good storytelling. I look for good writing. Yes, good language and good story are what are going to be important for me when I look at the submissions. It can be any genre. It need not be just horror or thriller, something which I enjoy the most. I personally feel comedy and horror are the most difficult genres to write. But I'll not restrict myself to any genre, and I've not restricted myself to any genre as well. I started off as a rom-com writer. I wrote a love story, then I got into an anthology, which had six different stories of six different genres, and then I got into horror. So I understand the essence of each and every genre. Horror is what I love the most, but I'll definitely not resort to favoritism. So if you write horror, it has to be a good story and good language. But apart from that, I'll be looking at all the genres in a very equitable manner. I'll try to bring some credibility to the table when I read your submissions and I point out my observations, so that we'll all improve. It's all part of the progress. You keep learning all the time. So when I read your stories, when I read your submissions, I'll be learning from them as well as I'll be pointing out my observations so that you can learn from them. So all the best. My best wishes to all the contestants here. Write well and write with good intent, and write for the sheer joy of it. I'm sure if you write for the sheer joy of it, your story as well as the language both will turn out to be good. And nothing beats a good story.